Hello. In today's lesson, I would like to give you tips on using Thomson Reuters Westlaw products to succeed in law school. The agenda for today's short lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about the Law School Survival Guide, tips and resources available on Westlaw that will help you prepare for class, and finally, practical law and the new Law School Resource Center. Now, the Law School Survival Guide is housed on a portal called lawschool.thomsonreuters.com or lawschool.tr.com. You should bookmark this page for several reasons. First, each of the products you have access to through Thomson Reuters is going to be listed there. Every law student has access to Westlaw, TWEN, Practical Law. Some schools subscribe to additional products like Drafting Assistant and Doc and Form Builder. So everything that you or your school subscribes to will be listed right there. Second, there is a Knowledge Center link at the top of the screen. This will provide you with access to our e-learnings. Currently, we offer 5 different certifications. And after you take each and pass a quiz for each of them, you are able to list those certifications on your LinkedIn profile or resume. The aforementioned Law School Survival Guide is also listed at the top of the screen. And finally, every law student enjoys free access to Black's Law Dictionary. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But first, the Law School Survival Guide. This has become a very popular feature on our homepage, and it really gives a 1L lots of different tips on, well, how to survive law school. One of the tips, effective study techniques. So when you click that link or scroll down, you'll have a little bit of a discussion. It will link out to videos and resources that you can use to help with building your outlines and effective study techniques. Another link I wanted to point out, additional resources. And speaking of outlines, under additional resources, you'll have access to a lot of free material through lawschool.tr.com and the survival guide. Here you'll see listed a lot of the doctrinal courses you are taking: contracts, Civ Pro, criminal law, torts, con law, LR&W. And within each topic, you'll see some resources that are realistically databases on Westlaw that are free that will be of interest to you. A lot of times you'll see treatises and horn books that you can use to build your outlines. For contracts, for example, Williston on Contracts is an excellent resource. And speaking of outlines, we will also provide you with outline shells. Click that link for contracts and it takes us to the black letter law outline for that particular topic. I say shell, this is a 62-page outline. So this will be an essential feature to help build your contracts outline. Next thing I'd like to talk about are some of the resources available on Westlaw for class preparation. Now back to the lawschool.tr.com page. I mentioned earlier you have free access to Black's Law Dictionary. So you're reading your casebook and you come across a term, mens rea. You don't know what that means. Defendant lacked the requisite mens rea. Type that phrase, click the search icon. Westlaw takes you to Black's Law Dictionary, where we provide you with you are provided with access to the current edition, the definition, and any links to other related resources. So I would strongly recommend bookmarking lawschool.tr.com, but another thing you can do, if I clicked this back arrow, I would eventually back out to the Black's Law Dictionary entry page, if you will, or search page. Every single URL on Westlaw, or I should say every single database on Westlaw has its own unique URL. So if you're looking at Black's Law Dictionary, like I am on the screen right now, and I click and drag on that lock icon, I click and drag that to my bookmarks bar, I've now created a direct link on my bookmarks bar to Black's Law Dictionary. Now, if I'm reading from my casebook and I come across terms that I need to define, one click is going to take me to the screen where I could type in the definition. All right, another tip I'd like to talk about is finding cases by citation and name. So speaking of your casebook, you're coming across name of a case called Paul's Graph, or the citation of that case, 162 Northeast 99. I'd like to find it. How do I do it? Well, from the Westlaw homepage, you just type the citation. We don't care how you type it, by the way, meaning you don't have to capitalize the reporter abbreviation or put periods between the letters and spaces. As long as you type a proper citation, we're going to be able to find that for you. Likewise, if all you remembered was the name of the case, just start typing the name of the case and we will suggest cases that match. Now, when you were reading cases, Westlaw provides you with two research tools that you should really start to rely upon because they're going to make you a better researcher. And these are expertly created tools. So if, for example, you pull up a case like the one I'm showing on the screen, Chelsea Housing Authority v. McLaughlin, this case is about 17 pages long if I read the opinion. But before reading the opinion, you should always read the synopsis and headnotes. These are extra editorial tools that we provide that make it easier for you to understand exactly what the case dealt with. What is the synopsis? Well, simply stated, the synopsis is a 1 or 2 paragraph summary of the case. It summarizes the facts, the issue, and the holding. Why read this? Well, if I were researching a tort issue dealing with negligence and I read this synopsis, it has absolutely nothing at all to do with it, I'm going to move on to a different case. Likewise, the headnotes, what they're giving you is a summary of each and every issue in the case. If this case had 15 headnotes, there would be 15 distinct issues. And these are written by attorney editors. They will read the case, create a concise summary, making it much easier for us to understand exactly what the case dealt with. Keep in mind that a lot of times, you're at the mercy of a judge in terms of your understanding of the case. And when you have an attorney editor who has read, digested, and created a summary for you, it's much easier for you to sort of get to the heart of what the case dealt with. And the other thing that I wanted to point out when the attorney editors create these headnotes, they are going to add important terms that make it easier for you to understand. And what I mean by that is I actually did a search and found that there are almost 15,000 cases out there that deal with a landlord-tenant issue where the judge, not once in the opinion, used the term landlord or tenant. The judge used the names of the parties, Smith and Jones, or their legal relationship, plaintiff, defendant, appellant, appellee. Well, when the editors read these cases and provide these summaries, these headnotes, they're not going to say Smith and Jones. They're going to say landlord-tenant. It's going to make it much easier for you to understand exactly what the case deals with. Speaking of understanding what a case deals with, there will be days when you don't have enough time to prepare for class. Well, don't worry about it. We've got your back here. If you pull up the name of a case or its citation, you're going to see a Brief It button. You click on that, and we will provide you with the synopsis and headnotes. So at least you could scan this before class to gain an understanding of what you will be, or your professor will be talking about in case you were called upon. Final thing I wanted to touch upon is practical law. Now, this is a This is a service you will use a lot as an upper class student, but as a 1L, I do want to point out the new Law School Resource Center. Practical Law can be accessed through lawschool.tr.com, or if I'm in Westlaw, I click the drop down. You'll see it on the left-hand side. The Law School Resource Center is a nice feature for you to use for some of your doctrinal classes, in particular, contracts, Civ Pro, and Con Law, because what it will do is basically give me access to practice notes, which I can use to build my outline and or gain a better understanding of the topic we are covering in that doctrinal class. For example, if we were talking about consideration with respect to contracts, I could use the table of contents to go to that particular subject, read practice notes that will give me the insight and understanding I need for class, and also to help build my outlines. The other really nice feature about the Law School Resource Center, throughout these particular topics, we have embedded flowcharts. So for civil procedure, for example, you're going to be learning about subject matter jurisdiction. How do you attain subject matter jurisdiction? Well, it's a real complex process if you just thought about it in terms of text, but if you're a graphical learner, this is going to be of real interest to you because we're going to provide you with a flow chart, making it easier to understand that concept. Okay, I hope this was very helpful. Good luck this year, and if you have any questions, as always, let me know.